Come here. What if I told you that there's an app for this? What if I told you there's an app for this? What if I told you there's an app for these? You might think that an app is inconvenient. I don't want an app for everything. Yet still, when we buy our smart home tech, they all come with apps. So I think that ship has sailed a long time ago. But what if I told you that in this case, apps are good? What if I told you in this case, for your people who are using your smart home, they're gonna want it? What if I told you that? Just humor me for a moment and let me explain.
Get excited.
You can show custom dashboards, dazzling applications, and provide a unique home experience, all because it can easily serve HTML. Now, I know a lot of you don't know code or HTML, and that's okay. What I want to bring out is the purpose behind a smart home is that you can essentially create a cozy home environment that's tailor-made for you. And to help you craft this experience, platforms like Home Assistant provides you with generic tools. Tools that can fit a wide variety of needs. But herein lies the problem. Generic tools give you generic experiences. So what's wrong with this? Oftentimes, I find that smart home enthusiasts, even myself, end up cobbling together these different technologies like Legos to create and solve their own unique circumstances. Now, in most cases, this is fine, but one creative solution is to build your own custom applications. Using tools like GPT, you can quickly write code that's specifically tailored to your problems. And you can use free tools like Node-RED or N8N to serve those files on your home network. Let me give you an example. My wife uses GPT to create recipes for dinner, but she not only wanted an easy way to discover recipes, which is what GPT did, but she also wanted to save them without the hassle of negotiating with the AI. Now, we could have used off-the-shelf tools like Grossi, Tandor Recipes, Mealy, but these apps are so robust that realistically, we would never get to learn all of them. And the learning curve, the more features that you add, tends to get a little bit much. And this is kind of the trade-off with a lot of these tools. The whole reason she used GPT in the first place was because it was mindlessly simple. Instead of having to do anything complex, all she had to do was just simply ask questions and it gave answers. So instead of offering her apps that would increase her complexity, I created something that specifically met her needs without overcomplicating the experience. This is how I created Dinner OS. You can check the link in the description to see more about it, but this is how she goes about creating dinners and she loves it. She still uses it. It's been almost a month since I've created it and it's still going strong. By far, the highest wife approval factor I've ever gotten out of anything I've built. And why is that? Basically, she has an app now that is powered by the same AI that she's used to using and has the ability to save recipes locally with the press of a single button.
Okay, let me give you another example. So my mom came by to visit, and realistically, our house is small, so we don't have a really good place to put her. So she sleeps on the couch. Technically, that's not the problem. The problem are these. We have lights for plants all over the living room. My wife has a bit of a green thumb and she loves plants, so she has lights in strategic places to ensure that the plants have enough light to basically stay healthy. And these plants lights, they're everywhere. Look at this one. Plants everywhere. To help my wife maintain these plants, I actually have automations that controls all of the lights. They turn on and off at specific times of the day in order to, again, help my wife with keeping and maintaining the plants. And guest mode doesn't seem to help in this situation. Matter of fact, it makes things more complex, annoying, and inconvenient for us. We live here 100% of the time, and for the 1% that people are over, guest mode made things troublesome. So the question becomes, for the time that my mom is here, how do I give her the ability to turn on and off lights like these without having to inconvenience my wife, especially since these cases can be one-off? Now, here's what I know she's not gonna do. I don't expect her to get onto the floor to turn on and off these switches manually. I don't expect that. I also don't expect her to know the specific commands to activate this via some smart speakers in the house.
Now, pause. Now, I know a lot of you swear by the whole guest mode aspect, and I do think there's a lot of merit to having a guest mode within your smart home. If I want to raise the bar in my smart home, it would be nice to be able to just think about the experience itself and have it agnostic to whether or not people are there. This is not to say that we ignore other people, but again, I'm trying to find ways to raise the bar, to make it easier, because ideally, I don't want to be the only one maintaining the smart home. Okay, so unpause. So what was the solution? I built a simple app for my mom. It only works while she's in the house, and she has the ability to turn on and off the lights without having to hunt for the individual switches or get onto her knees and turn them off manually, or to know any smart home command. You might be thinking, that sounds cool, but I can't build an app. I get it, right? I get you. This solution is not for everyone. However, there are tools out there that can help tremendously. For example, the light switch app that I just showed you, that I built for my mom using a low-code platform called Node-RED. It was super simple. It was drag and drop. I simply dragged and dropped the elements onto a canvas, and it created the switches and the UI elements for me. It's not the prettiest out of the box, but it does get the job done. And what about the custom meal prep app that I built earlier? That I used using GPT. Full disclosure though, I am a software engineer, so that does make me more sure-footed, but 99% of the code that was built for that application was written by GPT. I was able to put that together in less than 24 hours. Now, here's the bottom line of all of this. You can create a one-of-a-kind home experience by creating applications that address your unique problems. When you create something that solves a real pain point, something that an off-the-shelf component alone can't fix, then you have a smart home. Now, I know that sounds a bit controversial, I get that, but let me shift your perspective just a bit. When I audit the automations in my home that work really well, that's used consistently and has impact, and I'm defining impact as something that when it is not there, leaves a void big enough that makes you feel like this needs to be fixed. When we have automations that deliver impact, those are the ones that stay the longest. Those are the ones that withstand time, and those are the ones that really vary between me and you. My wife had the real problem of trying to save recipes, and that app not only worked in tandem with the way that she was currently working, but solved that issue, and it's something that she's using up until this day. You know what? I'm done talking about that. Let me show you how to use Node-RED and make it available on your private home network. I'm going to be using the dinner planning app as an example. I have Node-RED on this computer here, and I can access it on any computer using the IP address. On that same computer as Node-RED, I pulled in the dinner application, so now it's in a folder. I can run the build command, which will generate all the files that it needs to run the app. So for instance, the HTML files, along with the CSS and the JavaScript, all of that is there. In Node-RED, I have these set of nodes. This node will activate if I go to the same IP address as earlier. Going to this URL will activate the node and grab the HTML file from that build folder. But the HTML file will need to render other things like images, fonts, and most importantly, the JavaScript files. So this node is dynamic and will serve all of those other files for me. Now, if we were to refresh the application, I can now access it from within my network. This is not the only way that you can make applications available on your network, but I just wanted to show you another way, another tool. I want to give you another tool in your tool belt to help you build your smart home. If you're interested to download this code for yourself, just check the link in the description. Additionally, if you want to figure out how you can use Node-RED to create this application that I did for my mom, you can go and check out this video too. But to be honest, these will only scratch the surface. If you really want to dive deep and learn how to do all of this, check out the Automation Trilogy. It's the link in the description at the very top. Check it out for yourself and see if it's something you want to get into.